Alaska is a magnificent state, one of Mother Nature's most spectacular. Here, some of North America's tallest peaks, rich, lush forests, pristine rivers full of salmon, trout, and grayling. It's no wonder there are 8 national parks here, 6 of which are also national preserves. Stretching from the gates of the Arctic in the north, south to Glacier Bay, they encompass great diversity in some of the most scenic and wildest of habitat. In addition to land designated as national parks, the form is regulated, so there's enough space to view and photograph bears at the falls. Even though this is the prime time, perfect month for bears at the falls, the migrating salmon didn't read the script. Even the bears are puzzled at the lack of fish. Regardless of the lack of fish in the river, this is a spectacular sight, and with a little imagination and a few Park Service photographs, one can get an idea of how spectacular it could be. As I mentioned earlier, we visited the park in July, just a few years after the park opened, and this was the scene at the falls then. 9 gazillion salmon, but no bears. It's hard to imagine, but that's what we found. The runs of sockeye in Alaska are predictable, but yet very unpredictable. With relative certainty, there is a guarantee the run will occur every year. It's nearly a guarantee that the run will begin on the Brooks River in mid to late June and continue through July. But exactly how many fish and what days they'll be in the river, a roll of the dice. These fish average from about 5 to 7 pounds and are returning here to spawn on the gravel beds where they were born 4 or 5 years before. They've spent that time away from brooks, in lakes, streams, and ocean, developing into adults. The salmon spawn in August, September, and October, depositing their eggs in the loose gravel of the stream. After they spawn, they die. The park is world famous for its great fishing.
He's not real big, but he's big.
One of the more famous rivers that begins in the park and runs along the border for a ways is the Alagnak Wild and Scenic River, which is another Park Service entity unto itself. The Alagnak meanders west for over 60 miles, joining the Kvichak, which then flows into the Bering Sea. For many who visit Katmai National Park and Preserve and the Alagnak Wild and Scenic River, access is through the King Salmon Airport, which is right next door to the King Salmon Visitor Center, where there's all sorts of information about the parks from the ranger staff, plus maps and brochures. Not only is the Alagnak world famous for awesome Alaska angling, but also its magnificent population of grizzly bears. Kelly and yours truly, Jim Watt, both love to fly fish and have been visiting the Alagnak since 1985. We also produced and hosted the acclaimed ESPN series, Fly Fishing Video Magazine.
Oh, there's a grayling.
That's a fish. That's a fish. Wow.
Nice.
Woo! And it's even the fish we're after.